Jeff Sessions yesterday went in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He sits in front of them today, I guess, as well, right? And I think we're going to hear from testimony today from Cory Booker, who's actually going to testify against him, which is
running for president,
which is him a declaration for but I like the way he's doing it. I mean, look.
Oh, of course.
Here's the thing. And here's where we are, folks. Cory Booker has, in my mind, a pretty bad record when it comes to cozying up to investment bankers, a pretty bad record when it comes to privatizing of education. He has distanced himself a little from that since getting into the Senate. Like I've always said, I don't care what's in the heart of politicians. I just care about what they are, what wind fills their sails. And so far, Cory Booker is, his sails are being filled by wind that I like. I like to see him go and say, F this supposed Senate comedy, COMITY. Not only am I not going to defer to him because he's a Senate colleague, I'm going to testify against him because he is apparently a liar and probably still pretty much a racist or certainly against the idea of black people voting.
He's not, but this is what we went over yesterday. His personal attitude is all they have. Maybe maybe on a personal level, he's evolved to the point where he doesn't think that black people are less than human or something. Irrelevant. His whole policy portfolio is anti-civil voting rights, period.
And his record, and it's not like his voting in the Senate has shown some type of big dramatic shift away from disenfranchising people to voting. I mean, give me a break. But I don't know, just this exchange that we're going to see now with Jeff Sessions and Al Franken seems to me should disqualify Jeff Sessions right away. The guy has been lying to the committee. He is submitting false information to the committee. He's done so in terms of his involvement, as Franken's about to show, with civil rights cases. But he also has lied to the committee in terms of ethics, in terms of his relationship with oil companies. What's Jeff Sessions hiding? Well, I think we know. But, come out from underneath the covers. Pull that sheet. What are you trying to do? Put a sheet over our eyes? But here is Al Franken just roasting. How long is this clip? It's a long clip, but Franken just pulls them apart here. This is awesome.
The questionnaire you submitted for today asks you to list and describe the, quote, 10 most significant litigated matters you personally handled. And among the cases...
Now pause it for 1 second. Franken sets this up by saying, Senator Sessions, you've been a member of this committee. You've always said that people need to come here and give us the absolute facts. Like, you cannot tell any fibs or misrepresent yourself in any way, because that's disqualifying. And so then Franken goes into his submission.
That you personally handled are 3 voting rights cases and a desegregation case. Last week, I should note, 3 attorneys who worked at DOJ and who actually brought 3 of the 4 cases wrote an op-ed piece in which they say, quote, we can state categorically that Sessions had no substantive involvement in any of them. Now, you originally said that you personally handled 3 of these cases, but these lawyers say that you had no substantive involvement. Chairman Grassley, I would ask that op-ed from last Tuesday's Washington Post be entered into the record.
Without objection, it will be entered.
Are they distorting your record here?
Yes. In fact, one of the writers there, Mr. Hebert, spent a good bit of time in my office. He said I supported him in all the cases he brought, that I was more supportive than almost any other U.S. attorney, and that I provided office space. I signed the complaints that he brought. And as you know, may know, Senator Franken, when a lawyer signs a complaint, he's required to affirm that he believes in that complaint and supports that complaint and supports that legal action, which I did. We sued.
So that's your personal involvement. Was that your name was on it?
Well, look, you can dispute the impact or the import of the questionnaire. Another attorney, Paul Hancock, who brought cases in our district, said, well, the Attorney General claims credit for the cases in the Department of Justice. He saw nothing wrong with my claiming that this was a case that I had handled.
Okay, two of the...
So you can disagree with that, but those
I want to get through this,
have my
and I don't want you to...
on the...
I want to get through
on
this.
the docket sheet, my name is listed number one on the as the attorney for the case.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm one of the few members of this committee who didn't go to law school, and usually I get by just fine. But it seems to me that a lawyer, if a lawyer has just his name added to a document here or a filing there, that lawyer would be misrepresenting his record if he said he was personally handled these cases. Two of the lawyers who wrote the op-ed have also submitted testimony for today's hearing, Mr. Jerry Hebert and Mr. Joe Rich. Mr. Hebert says, quote, says he, quote, litigated personally 2 of the 4 cases you listed. He said, I can state with absolute certainty that Mr. Sessions did not participate personally in either. Mr. Rich worked on one of the 4 cases you listed. He said, quote, I never met him at that time nor any other time, and he had no input to the case. These represent 3 of the 4 cases that you claimed that were among the top 10 cases that you personally handled.
Now, Sessions sort of like meanders and he sort of backs off, but I can tell you he was rather unhappy. I mean, one of the cases of the top 10 cases that he said he ever personally handled, he never met the lawyer who was handling it. He never saw the lawyer who was handling it. And they all attested. And the lawyer that supposedly said those good things about Sessions had to say so in a public testimony under pressure of being part of his office. So Jeff Sessions on record as a liar. But let's move on. Aside from, let's not get too meta about his. I mean, the reason why, of course, Jeff Sessions is trying to pretend like he was involved in civil rights litigation because he has such a bad record on it that he has to fabricate one. Hey, it's Sam Cedar. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.